All right, so thanks to Ryan and Brian for that awesome walk around and demo of excavators, brand new technology, and that brand new 335. So really looking forward to seeing those out in the field. Speaking of out in the field, the last couple of years we've had a lot of resurgence of our new D6 and our D6XE. Starting to see a lot of those tractors out there. So let's start by taking a quick little walk around of the D6 and D6XE. Now, as I'm kind of going through and talking about things here, I want you to kind of think about how this compares to the D6T. A lot of folks in your territory love that D6T. It's been a great tractor for us. So we took that as kind of a base and decided to build up upon that. And one of the first things we're going to talk about is the blade on the brand new Dozer. Now, to kind of illustrate this, I want to point out on the previous D6Ts, we did have vertical lift cylinders on that. But if we start to take a look at our brand new D6 VPAT dozer, you'll notice that on the VPATs, we've transitioned away from those vertical lift cylinders into a more traditional C-frame and horizontal lift cylinder setup here. So a couple things you'll notice that are completely different about this C-frame. Instead of having a traditional C-frame with a tower on the front of it, we basically split that up into an upper and a lower C-frame. And what that does for us, it gives us a lot more strength. It gives us more capability with the dozer in terms of angle and tilt capability. It also allows that dozer to angle on plane, since we've got the ball and the pins lined up in a vertical line. That's going to allow that dozer to angle on plane, which is a really nice feature in there. At the same time, it also let us go ahead and take those, like I said, we took those lift cylinders off the front end. We took them off the hard nose, dropped them back down here, which helped us out quite a bit with balance. Allows us to slide the cylinders back, slide a lot of that weight back in towards the center of the tractor a little more, and therefore improving the balance of the machine. Where we don't have to have counterweights on the back end of this machine. So very, very well balanced, either with just a drawbar or, of course, with a ripper or winch. It's going to be very well balanced as well, too. So that was one of the key differentiators between this tractor and the previous D6T. And this blade, of course, the VPAT blade is going to be available either on a D6 or a D6XE. We happen to have it on an XE here. So as we work our way around the front here, we need to take a quick look at the blade as well, too. Notice the blade shell has gotten a little bit thicker. The structure of the blade's a little thicker. It has some more cells in here, really improving the durability of that blade as well. So these blades are all just a little bit wider and a little bit taller as well too. And then we shaved the top corner off these guys, giving you a little better visibility up here as well. So really improving the work tool on this machine and the structure of that blade. So all of these VPAT blades do come with the grade control masts on them. But of course, as we get into technology, a lot of customers are going with the mastless integrated grade control, what we call cat grade with 3D on this tractor as well. So again, lots of changes up here in the front end, and really driven by improving the durability of this machine and also the balance of this tractor as well too. So an excellent performing blade system on the front of this machine. So as we kind of work our way back, one thing you will notice is that the front end of this tractor, again, being a little bit different. We don't have the hard nose with the lift cylinders on them. So what we've done is we've got that C-frame that comes along the side here. But this would be what we'd call a step frame. You'll notice the front end of this frame is just a little bit narrower than the rear case and frame is. And what that allows us to do is run these cylinders right alongside the inside of the track, and it allows us to get wider shoes on these tractors. So on this, the new D6 or D6XE LGP, you can get a full 36-inch shoe. And it's not an offset shoe, it's a center-mounted shoe in here. So all of the new shoes are center-mounted, whether it be a 36, a 30-inch, or if you get down into the standard gauge, a 22 or a 24. So brand new roller frames designed in here as well too. So very rugged, durable design in that roller frame. And a couple things that you'll notice in here, we do kick this front roller forward just a little bit more, which gives us a little bit better grading capability on this tractor. This tractor also happens to have our 10 roller bottom, so we call it the fine grading undercarriage. So 10 rollers along here, giving us a little bit smoother surface to roll on, a little bit better capability for higher speed finish grading, and grading in tougher types of materials as well too. So very heavy duty roller frame built into here, all the way back to a larger cast pivot shaft housing as well too. And again, just excellent structures all the way fore and aft. Now, one thing about our roller frame and E-bar system that's a little bit different, we've gone with a permanently lubed E-bar. Both the center and the outside pins are permanently lubed. So no need to try to get in there and grease those E-bar pins. They're permanently lubed pins. In terms of structures as well, you notice that we've gone with a quite a bit larger final drive. Now this is a double reduction final drive, so there's 2 sets of planetaries in here, where the previous D6T had 1 set of a 3-planet final drive. This has got 2 3-planet final drives in there, so more of a D8 style of final drive, giving us that extra capability inside that final drive. So as we are looking at roller frames and undercarriage and talking about that, you'll also notice that this tractor is available, as I mentioned, in 3 different gauges and configurations there. So you've got our narrow gauge, which is 22/24. You've got a mid gauge, which would be a 30-inch, and it's still an LGP. It's a 6 PSI LGP, which is a little bit lower than the previous D6T. LGP was 6.3. So you've got a 6 PSI LGP. And then with the 36-inch shoes and a little wider gauge, you have a 5 PSI LGP. So you have 2 different LGPs to choose from, an LGP with 30-inch shoes or an LGP with 36-inch shoes. And the gauge of those tractors changes as well with that too, as does the blade width on those machines as well. So working our way kind of into the powertrain portion of it, C9.3B. So this is our brand new 9.3B series engine. I've done quite a bit of work on this tractor in terms of simplifying the engine and making it a bit more reliable and more robust. Improve the electronics of the engine, also simplified the after treatment of this machine as well too. So reducing several things that customers were asking us to. One in particular was getting rid of the EGR system. So it does not have an exhaust gas recirculation system. It's a full SCR type of emission system, meaning that it does use a little bit more depth than the previous D6T did. But a lot less components to cause issues down the line on there. So really happy to have introduced that 9.3B, giving us some good power, great efficiency, and really, really good durability with this engine as well too. Now we will spend a little bit of time later talking about the cab, but brand new cab on this machine as well, wider, more spacious, better controls, more comfortable all the way around on the cab of this machine. So as we talk about these 2 machines, I got to spend a little bit of time talking about powertrains. All right, so you know, previously the D6T was a 3-speed power shift, and then in 2018 we moved to a 4-speed with a lockup clutch, and now with the new D6 and D6XE, we're giving you 2 different choices for powertrains. The D6 has that same 4-speed lockup clutch power shift transmission. So really nice transmission, full auto shift. Set your speed, and the tractor will automatically shift as it needs to get you the speed that you're looking for in terms of ground speed. So 30 different speed increments in those 4 gears. So again, it's going to automatically shift as it needs to get you that speed that you're looking for. So a nice, good, durable, reliable transmission. It really worked out with us well for over the years. But what we've done with the XE is we've introduced our brand new XE powertrain. And so this is our electric drive system. The XE powertrain starts at the engine, okay? Very similar engine to the D6 as in the XE, so trying to keep things as common as we can there. But instead of a torque converter and a transmission, that engine's hooked up directly to a generator. We spin the generator, we create the electricity, goes into an inverter. The inverter conditions, manages, and controls that electricity, and then sends it down into one motor in the powertrain. So the one motor in the powertrain spins one direction to make the tractor go forward, spins the other direction to make the tractor go in reverse. No gears, no transmission down in there, just one motor that changes its speed based on the commanded speed that you're giving it on the controls to get you the right ground speed you're looking for. Now, in either tractor, steering is controlled with a hydraulic differential steering system. So something we've had in dozers for a long time, from the 6N all the way up to the D9, where we have the hydraulic motor, independent hydraulic motor, independent hydraulic pump that's controlling that left and right steering. And what that does is that changes the speed of each of those sprockets on either side using a differential system. It slows down one and speeds up the other at the same time, hydraulically powered, and that's what gives you your steering capability. In particular, the differential steering on this tractor gives us some excellent capability in terms of power in a turn. Lots of power to be able to do that sweeping backfill or that pioneering type of work, and also very, very efficient as well too. So diff steering, both tractors, very similar there. As we're kind of finishing up here, let me kind of talk just a little bit about safety on this machine, working our way up and down this tractor. Lots of handles, grab irons, halo grab iron all the way around the top there. Tractors are available with a beacon system as well too, giving you great visibility to the job site. You know, all around the job site, everybody can see that tractor with those beacon strobes on there. This tractor also happens to have the 12 light package on it as well too. So great visibility at night, you know, in those low light situations with the 12 light package. Lots of other options on these guys too in terms of durability. You know, hydraulic and fuel tank guard out here as well. And as we work our way around the back, we've got a nice ladder standard on the back here as well too, giving us great access up and down to clean that back window, work on your, clean out your cabin air filter as well too. So. One quick thing we'll point out as we're buzzing over here by the D6, of course, lots of options in terms of work tools, drawbar, winch. This guy happens to have the ripper on the back of it as well, too. And I mentioned gauges, you know, the LGP, the standard gauge, the standard and the two LGPs. And then, of course, we have two different blade systems, a VPAT blade system or a push arm style of blade system. So this is an LGP 30-inch with an SU blade. So all different types of, 3 different types of push arm blades, 3 different VPAT blades on the machine. So 6 different configurations in each of the power shift and the electric drive setup. So, all right. So we'll talk technology in a little bit, but for right now, let's go ahead and transition over. And I want to talk to you about our brand new D7. So let me go ahead and kick up and we'll start talking a little bit about the D7. I'm going to show you a few slides to get started with here. All right. So go ahead and pop up some slides here. Let me talk just a little bit about our next-gen family. So obviously the D5 next-gen dozer we released last year, and in both a push arm and a VPAT configuration. We had the D6 next-gen dozer. We'd come out a couple years ago, and then now we're releasing the D7 next-gen dozer. So a great new addition to the next-gen dozer line, and really kind of filling in, helping us to fill in that product line for these next-gen machines. You've seen the D1, 2, and 3. Come out from Athens, Georgia. The D4 is out as well too. Of course, the 5, 6, now the 7, and then the larger dosers coming out as well. So some key selling points that you want to be considering when you're talking about that D7. One of the key things, obviously, is high drive. You guys spoke and we listened, really wanting to return back to that high drive dozer, and so here we are. Now, it's just to point out, it's not just a D7R that we've brought back to life. It truly is a different machine. Brand new platform and a brand new frame on this tractor, brand new engine, of course, cab, electronic, hydraulics, even blade and structures are new on this tractor as well. So, moving up to 8% more material, and that's a combination of increased weight, horsepower, and also a new blade, larger blade as well too. Now this tractor is going to have all of the technology benefits on there, so benefit from all the CAT technology, whether it be simple 2D grade control or the full CAT 3D grade control, or even some of our new efficiency features we're putting in there, such as traction control, blade load monitor, and stable blade as well. So a very versatile machine, available in a wide variety of configurations, and of course taking care of that operator with our next-gen cab. So we'll kind of cover just a few of these here a little bit. Obviously, we've bringing back the high drive with us is one of the key things on this tractor. So giving us a better ride, a little bit better balance in terms of having a little more weight on the blade, and a little bit more aggressive of a cutter and a slot dozer as well too. So you know, the beautiful thing about high drive is it lets us place that roller frame right where we need it, to get us the right amount of balance on the front end of that tractor for heavy penetration and cutting, and also the you know, decent amount on the back end to give us some good grading characteristics as well too. So, of course, maintenance, repairability, serviceability are key hallmarks of the high drive system, and the D7 does not disappoint. In terms of performance, we did bump up the weight and the horsepower a little bit as well too. So you can see we came from a D7E with 238. The next gen D7 is 265 horsepower, and added about 4,000 pounds in there from 61 up to 65.6. So giving us a little bit more weight on there as well too. So along with that higher horsepower, we're getting a little bit more drawbar power as well too. And to balance all that out, we put a larger blade on there. So the SU blade is about 10% larger. So we're looking at a 9.7 yard standard SU blade. Going with an LGP-S is 8.1, or an LGP angle blade for you pipeliners is 6.2 yards. So get a little bit larger blade in all of those situations there as well too. Now this tractor does have the auto shift, so it is a 4-speed lockup clutch auto shift tractor, very similar to the D6 and the D8 that's out there now as well too. And that's a very efficient transmission. You know, that full auto shift, when you're hitting those piles in second gear, automatically downshifts to 1.5, giving you the extra power you need to get through that. And then, of course, upshifting back to the 2.0 when it needs to as well, too. So very, very nice, efficient transmission, easy to operate, and really giving us some great efficiency and great power on this. So I know a lot of y'all have the D7Rs around as well too, so I wanted to just throw a couple comparisons in here to the D7R. So again, quite a bit larger tractor in terms of weight and horsepower, so up to 9% more material than that D7R, and a bit more efficiency as well too. And again, auto shift, which the D7R did not have, and also a 2-pump system. So D7R was a single pump. This does have a separate diff steer pump and implement pump, giving you a bit more steering performance and a bit better response on that as well too. So talk just a little bit about some of the technology on here. Now, the D7's never been a huge technology machine, but we wanted to bring it out with all of the same technology that we're offering on the D6 and the D8 size dozers as well too. And so we're going to have several things on there, such as slope assist. Slope assist being our 2-dimensional grade control system. You know, using onboard sensors of the tractor, does not use GPS or radios or designs, but it allows you to set a target slope and grade that, you know, grade the surface out to that target slope. And I'll show you a little bit in the cab, and Brian's going to show you a little bit in the demo as well too. So, cat grade with 3D. This is our full 3D grade control system. This is our integrated grade control system, so everything built in from the factory, sensors, wiring, antennas, receivers, and display in there as well too. Or as an ARO, or attachment ready option, you can put several of those components on at the dealership afterwards as well too. So you can order it either way, as an ARO ready for cat grade with 3D, or out of the factory, including all of the cat grade with 3D components. Now, auto carry comes with cat grade with 3D, but with the new D7, we're also going to have a standalone version of auto carry where you can run this without having 3D grade control. So either way you want to run it. But what auto carry does is it's going to help you in terms of traction control and load control. And if you get to a point where you're loading the blade up too much and it's starting to slip, auto carry will automatically lift the blade up and help reduce that track slip and improve that performance. Not only helps to reduce the track slip, but it also helps to encourage operators to load a little bit more on the blade, maybe be a bit more efficient with each push. Now, speaking of that, Blade Load Monitor kind of gives that operator a visual representation of what is on the blade of the machine. So it's taking a look at things such as power usage in the tractor, traction, you know, ground speed using GPS, and it's given the operator a visual indicator. That's what's in the upper right-hand corner, that green, yellow, red indicator. It's giving you a little bar that slides back and forth there that lets you know how much your tractor is pushing, how aggressively you're pushing, and therefore if you could stand to put a little more load on, or if you've got a little too much load. So, stable blade, 2nd gen, gives you really good control in terms of grading manually. Smooths that blade out a little bit and gives you lets you go just a little bit quicker in terms of grading. Now, traction control is in here as well too. Traction control, again, kind of works like Blade Load Monitor does. It's going to monitor things like ground speed, load on the tractor, and if it starts to see you getting ready to slip, it's going to go ahead and reduce just a little bit of torque to allow you to recover that load without breaking those tracks loose and slipping those tracks. So not only does Blade Load Monitor encourage you to get more load, traction control also kind of helps you to keep from breaking that load loose, breaking those tracks loose when you do get that good heavy load on the front of that tractor. So again, trying to help help your operators become a little bit better by getting a little bit more in front of that tractor and pushing a little bit more, being more productive and more efficient, but at the same time reducing that track slip and wear, and kind of helping your operators become a little bit better dozer operators as well. So last but not least, remote control ready on this tractor. So the cab is going to be set up from the factory, ready to install a CAT command remote control system on there. And it'll work with either type of system, the over-the-shoulder type of console, or the remote control station, which is what kind of looks like a simulator where you've got the computer screens around you and you're sitting in a chair operating it. Work either way depending on the way that you want to set that up. So RC Ready will be part of the config of these dozers as well too. So talk just a little bit about versatility. Of course, these tractors are not only in earth-moving applications, but we see them a lot in several other very unique applications, such as waste, forestry, and pipeline. So, just want a shout out to the to the folks that are doing that. This tractor has specifically been designed to be an excellent waste handler, guarding all the way around. Specialized air handling systems, a specialized cab as well too, to be a tractor that's going to be very durable and rugged out there in that waste handling, and also very reliable as well too, trying to keep as much of that damaging material out as we can, and really giving you a good experience with the waste handler. So again, very specifically designed as an excellent waste handler. D7E was very popular in waste, and we expect the D7 to be very similar. Forestry as well too. So we see a lot of tractors out here in forestry, tree farming applications as well. So again, a very specific design for forestry. And then of course pipeline. The pipeliners love the D7 size tractor for its weight and its durability, and also its capability with the winch as well too. So angle blade, hydraulic winch available from the factory. It's going to be an angle blade similar to the D8 that we have there, two-piece. And nice easy shipping with the 12.6 LGP ship width with that blade remove on there too. So definitely a nice tractor that we expect to see the pipeliners really look at as well too. So last but not least, talk a little bit about the next Gen Dozer cab. So the next Gen cab has grown in width. It's also quite a bit more volume inside that cab. In terms of the seat, the next gen seat in there with all the adjustments in there, heated and ventilated as an option on that seat. So a very, very nice, comfortable seat. And then, of course, the controls, slide them wherever you want to, and raise and lower those armrests to give you the most comfortable position on that. Lots of areas around that tractor cab to be able to store things, from your big gulp mug all the way down to your lunchbox. And really lots of good comfort and capability in that cab. And then, of course, the next-gen monitors in there as well, too, be it the grade control monitor or the standard tractor monitor. So lots of great capability on this new cab in here. Improved airflow of the cab as well. So, improve that, more volume of air, and then also higher cab pressurization, giving you that that nice comfortable cab in there where you're keeping your windows defrosted and keeping that operator nice and clean as well too. So visibility and safety are a huge portion of this new cab as well too. So great visibility all the way around, and then of course great access for safety and access egress on this machine as well too. So as we kind of transition out, let me go ahead and do a little bit of a walk around here. We don't have a D7 with us today. But what we're going to do is we're going to spend just a little bit of time talking and talking through kind of the D8 and the D6, and kind of do a little bit of a walk around for these guys as well. So now, I talk about the D7. The average of D6 and a D8 is going to be a D7, right? Well, kind of true. So let me talk about some of the features and components that we've brought from the D8 down, and then we'll talk about what's similar to the D6 as well. So the new D7, first off, coming up front here in the blade area, the new D7 is going to have a tag link blade, which is very similar to the D8 blade. So the D8 uses an L-shaped push arm. The D7 and the D6 uses an L-shaped push arm. The D7 and D8 use a tag link style blade. And so what does that mean? That means that our push arms are straight, join in at the knuckle here at the bottom of the blade, and then we have a tag link that runs across from the front of the case and frame to the back of the blade. And what that tag link does is that's going to help with any of that side-to-side motion. It's going to reduce that side-to-side motion, but also give good motion for that blade to lift and tilt as it needs to while you're doing your work. Now, tag link blades in general are kind of made for bigger dozers and heavier dozers, and that D7 certainly is jumping up into this big dozer class. So it also lets us take that blade and move it just a little bit closer to the tractor, giving you a little bit better penetration when you're cutting through heavier materials, and of course good dozing and carrying capability. So really happy to have that tag link blade on there. Now, the new D7 also uses the front hard nose from a D8. So same hard nose, same frog eyes, cylinder mounts on there, and radiator guard on there. Again, good component, very durable, very rugged, and something we pulled right off of the D8 into that. So the other thing that we pulled off of that is the rear case and frame. So the rear case and frame is going to be off of a D8 as well too. Obviously the frame rails are a little bit shorter than the D8, but rear case and frame is right straight off of a D8. So that component in there, very durable, very rugged, and something that we're real happy to bring that down into there. Now let's jump over and talk a little bit about the D6. So the D7 is borrowing some components from the D6 as well too. Okay, so the D7 does have its own final drive, but very similar to the D7 and the D8 and the D6, it is a double reduction planetary final drive. So 2 sets of planetaries in here. Also, the D7's got a brand new roller frame, all right? It's quite a bit larger than the D6 roller frame, but it is the same style and the same design of roller frame, where we've got the nice big heavy casting here at the pivot shaft, and then large cross-section of roller frame as it moves forward from there. Now, D7s will be a hard bottom tractor similar to a D6, but a similar type of a roller frame design as well too here. So in terms of the engine, so D7 is going to have the same engine as the D6 with a bit more horsepower in it. So the D6 comes out with 214, 215. This is going to be 268 net horsepower. So close to 300 on gross, 268 net, but it is the same engine as what we have on our D6. It's also going to have a very similar transmission to the D6 or the D8 in terms of the 4-speed lockup clutch transmission. So D7 will have that as well too. As we start to think about cabs, the D7 does have the same next-gen cab as the D5 and the D6. So all 3 of those tractors, 5, 6, 7, have that same next-generation cab in there, and the same electronic infrastructure as well too, in terms of all of the technology available with our slope assist, cat grade with 3D, blade load monitor, traction control, all of those types of features. So speaking of cab, let's go ahead and jump in the D6XE over here. We'll talk just a little bit about some of the features inside the cab. So as we're coming up here, again, good safety coming up and down these tractors. Halo grab iron, so really good safety in and out of this machine. Now, in terms of cab, we just mentioned that a little bit as well too, but, super comfortable cab, air ride seat, heated and cooled. Your controls slide back and forth, armrests up and down. So it's really easy for me to get these controls right exactly where I want them and really make it the most comfortable I can. In terms of visibility on this cab, excellent visibility down to your blade, undercarriage, off to the side here as well, and even great visibility off to the back. On all these new Dozers, we do have the seat canted about 15 degrees off to the side. So I do spend a lot of time going backwards in a Dozer, so it is nice to have that set up to where you can see backwards when you're heading back there. So controls, both of your B posts here as well as up top. So great controls access as well too in this Dozer. So let's talk a little bit about technology. So we mentioned some of the new pieces of technology in here. We're talking about having stable blade on these tractors, traction control, cat grade as well too. So you can see we've got both of our screens in here for cat grade. We have our 2-dimensional screen. This is kind of your normal cat Dozer monitor. So this is going to be in every tractor. And then if you do get cat grade with 3D, you get the cat grade with 3D screen down here as well too. So since we're inside, really can't show you much on cat grade with 3D because we do have it set up for GPS. So we really can't show you a lot in there. So let's focus just a little bit on the monitor up top here, so that we can talk a little bit about the 2D systems as well. So on this guy, lots of different features in this monitor. So as you hit the menu item there, you can kind of start to work your way in. There's 3 main screens up top here. You've got your gauges screen, your slope assist, and then your rear view camera. If you even just go to select one of those, this would leave that rear view camera in your main view all the time. And then of course slope assist gives you your slope assist settings in there as well too. So go back to the gauges screen if that's what I want to see in there. We do have some quick picks available on this monitor as well too. You can turn stable blade on and off. You could turn auto carry on and off. Since these tractors have reversing fans on them, you could do the fan purge and reverse that fan at a moment's whim if you'd like to do that. And then our custom bidirectional. This is going to enable me to go in and set a custom speed that I want to go in forward or reverse. I can set that, and it'll automatically, you know, whenever I kick it into forward and reverse, that's going to be my bidirectional speeds. So a nice simple way to enable your custom bidirectional. Some other features in here under settings, I'll show you. You go into machine, and you can change quite a few of the different settings on the machine here. You know, for example, if I'm doing finish grading, I might want to disable blade float and quick drop. I might even want to change my blade response to fine if I'm looking to do some finish grading with this dozer. Auto carry on and off. I can also change my auto carry load factor. If I wanted auto carry to lift the blade up a little bit quicker, I would lower this number down. That's going to allow me to slip a little bit less before it picks the blade up. It's going to be a little bit more responsive in there. So also in here, we've got our custom bidirectional we can set, fan purge duration and interval, lights on or off, and then I can, again, do that manual fan purge. Now, one of the neat things about the different machine settings is I can go into application profiles, and I can save all of those settings in there as a profile, and it's going to show me everything that I can save in here. My float, control, load factor, auto carry, etc. And I can go in and save that, create a new name. Let's say I'm going to call it finish, and boom. Now I've created that profile that is called finish grading. And whenever I set that profile up, it's going to automatically change those settings and make those work exactly for me as I want to. So I could have a profile set up for finish grading, maybe one for heavy dosing, maybe one for spreading or whatnot as well too. So really simple and easy to do that. And these profiles carry between operators. Okay. So we do have operator profiles as well too. You set those up with ET on the machine, and you can do that, and each operator could have their own profile, and then application profiles would then be used by all of the operators that are in there. So in that machine. So nice quick way to take a look at some of those things. So as I'm talking about some of the features, the slope indicate feature you can see on here, I can see that my dozer's sitting at a 2% downhill slope, and I've got about a 1% to the right. But if I want to go in and start using slope assist and actually control the blade, I would go into that slope assist screen. And what this does is this gives me my blade main fall here on the left-hand side. Now again, that previous screen was the tractor. This is the blade, so a little bit different. My blade main fall and my blade cross slope as well too. So I can turn the automatics off for that feature. The gray box means that they're on for that feature. And then if I click it again, it gets me into the advanced version of that. So I could set what I want my target or my recall value to be on my blade slope. And now when I click the yellow button to enable that, it's going to go to that value. Okay? So that's how the recall feature works. But it's pretty easy to toggle between off, slope assist on, or slope assist in advanced mode. And the same with your cross slope as well too. So off, on, or advanced mode. So we're going to let Mr. Brian Kane come out here and talk to you a little bit about how this works as we get ready to do our demo in just a few seconds here. But just want to kind of give you a little bit of a picture of that inside that monitor as well too. So last couple of things here on the monitor. Service, lots of diagnostics and parameters. You can go in and take a look at service. If I'm looking for, temperatures and pressures and maybe trying to diagnose something that might be going on, there's a lot of information in this monitor as to what I can look at to try to troubleshoot some, if I've got an issue going on here. So lots of things in there under service. Of course, information, key features, totals. Here's kind of under the information some a little bit of a, it's not really an OMM, but it does give you a little bit of some details about how to run some of the different features in there. So slope assist, reversing fan, stable blade, kind of gives you a little bit of an explanation of what's going on there. And that's underneath your key features there. Of course, totals, you've got your totals in the machine, lifetime and trip as well too. So, all right. Well, let me go back to that gauges screen, and I think we're ready to have Mr. Brian Kane come out here and show us a little bit about how this tractor performs. Give us a little bit of a demo with it. What do you think, Brian?
Sounds great, Sammy.
All right. I'm going to let you take over and kind of give us a little bit of an education of how this thing runs and kind of give us your feeling for what you think about it. You've been running this tractor for what, almost a year now?
Pretty close to about a year, yeah.
Yep.
So it's been here at Edwards, and it's been a joy to run, and kind of some features that we like about it for sure. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. We'll let Brian jump up in there and walk us through a little bit of slope assist. And
Okay, that sounds great.
All right.
Yeah, Sammy mentioned a little bit about the 3 points of contact. That's a huge thing, definitely here at Edwards and everywhere else. 3 points of contact is on here, very nice, very easy to get to. And then even so much like getting into the cab, we mentioned commonality between the 5, the 6, and the 7 that's coming out. Commonality in this cab, where the parking brake is, where the hydraulic lockout is, where you have the key here. And then even so much the doors. A lot of times you get in these machines, you're like, I'm not even sure where that door switch is. Where do I find that at? The commonality makes it definitely a key feature for an operator. Learning all the controls that are in here. So we'll go ahead and get her fired up for us. Sam mentioned the seat. We were able to adjust that to whatever he or she may like for sure. It's very roomy inside the cab. With them all being the same, I know exactly where everything is. So I can adjust that to what I would like. Sam mentioned a little bit about the bottom screen here that we have. It's our 3D or CAT grade. We're gonna mainly focus on the 2D or the slope assist. So give a little explanation, a little bit of talking on the slope assist or 2D. We had our little presentation with the excavators also on 2D. It's the same type of system. We're inside of a building. So with this 2D system, it knows kind of relatively where I'm at. Sam mentioned on the monitor here we have 1%, 2%. We have our main fault and our slope of the tractor. What that means is how mainly the tracks are. So I can sit here. We can go to our slope assist screen. Sam mentioned a little bit about where we're at. So as I pick up the blade, it shows me real time where a main fall is and where a cross slope is. So with this simple part of here, or not the advanced, if I click this into autos, they both turn green. As I run or as I move, it goes exactly where I left it at. If I would like to bring up the blade, it would stay exactly where that is. Let's say it's at 8.2. We can make that back over to 0. It's going to stay that and drive that to that. What I had the 8.2 and the cross slope at 0.9. Right through the pile, keeping that. One thing about this, just with the two-dimensional stuff, the only thing is if we don't have any material underneath of our blade or in front of our blade, it's not really going to stay at that desired. So we always want to have material. Right now we can do that same thing as we're kind of climbing up the hill. We'll just demonstrate that a little bit one more time. I let go. It's in autos. It stays at that nice, consistent grade or slope that I ask it to do. One thing about this electric drive machine I'd like to mention, Sam mentioned it earlier, mainly, kind of turning under load. With this machine, we're able to do that and not harm anything. So I can load up the blade here. With this machine, I can turn under load. Nothing really happens. So my D-cell, that's the huge thing on this machine, maybe compared to a conventional tractor. With this D-cell pedal, as I push this D-cell pedal, it really doesn't slow the RPMs down on the dozer. Mainly it's just my drive. So as I'm sitting here, and let's say I want to turn a real tight circle, if I press the D-cell pedal in, it's going to even turn tighter for me, right? So it mainly just slows the drive motor down for me. As I let go, you can see it turns. It only stops one track, and it turns a little bit of a wider turn for me. So that's one thing, definitely with the electric drive, kind of learning that for sure on how that works, of kind of what the D-cell pedal does. It's just a little bit of learning curve for some of the operators. They kind of get used to it, but you're always, married with your foot onto the D-cell pedal in the conventional tractors for sure. With this machine, we talked a little bit about the T. I've ran a lot of T's before also, and with this electric drive, as far as, you know, pushing material kind of under the load that we're looking for, it does a very, very excellent job. Now, if we want to use our slope assist, maybe we want to set a target. We're kind of slotting this out a little bit here so we can push some material back in. As you can see, the reverse camera comes on. It's got a big screen. It still has mainly our slope assist on this screen. If I come back here to where I'm at, right now we have no recalls on here. If we want to put a recall, let's just say we want to go to 0. So we've got 0 mainly right here, and if we want to recall this right here, we've got both of them up. If I back up to this same spot, if I put it in autos, machine's not in gear. If I put it there, the blade, as you can see, maybe picked up a little bit. So what this tractor's looking for, it's going off the grouser penetration. So it's thinking that the grousers should be penetrated into the material. So a lot of times if we're trying to do 0, 0, it's going to want to pick it up. Depends on the surface. Here on this material that we have, it's a pretty hard material. So the grousers really don't penetrate into the ground that much. So it's going to pick it up. As we're going, we can still put that back into autos. It stays at that desired height, depth, and the slope that I asked for. One thing I really like about the slope assist for sure, the main fall, like if we're doing slopes, we can have our cross slope at anything we like. We can turn that off. So our main fall, we can turn that off. Then as maybe we're grading this floor, we always know our cross slope is at 0. And then I can actually manually raise that blade up and down, and it still keeps that desired cross slope on there in autos. And all I gotta have to do is control my up and down, which is very, very nice. So with all those features, for sure, it's just a little bit of learning curve. These are all tools that can be in the toolbox. With these next-gen dozers, with the excavators, all the technology that we've talked about, it really helps the operator out in the field, as long as they kind of understand exactly how it works to their advantage. So with that being said, I think we're about ready to wrap this up, and we're going to turn it back over to the experts in the industry.
All right, Nick, you ready? We'll kind of give a little thanks to everybody. Really appreciate all y'all spending a little bit of time with us here, letting us talk about some of what's brand new in terms of dozers and excavators, and just kind of a quick recap from my side of it, from the dozer side of it. Brand new D6, brand new D6XE, big brothers to the new D5 and the D5 VPAT and SU dozers as well too. And then really excited to bring that brand new D7 to you as well. So thanks again for spending some time with us today. And I know the excavator guys got lots of fun stuff going on this year, so you can give us a little bit on that too.
Yeah, thanks. I know there was kind of information overload with the technology demo, but we've got a lot of information out there, whether it's YouTube, whether it's at cat.com, where you can see links to the videos and all kinds of information of the standard technology we have throughout the entire product line, from the 313 to the 395. There's tons of good data out there, and hopefully you caught something. Hopefully one of those little things that we showed tripped a trigger, and you were like, you know what, I could really use that on my job site, or whatever the scenario may be. Hopefully you're thinking outside of the box with this technology, as it's becoming newer on excavators we're seeing in the industry. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for your next purchase. And Brian, and great job on the walk around as usual.
Yeah, no, well said. And again, we appreciate you guys taking the time and learning about the next generation excavators and the dozers, and just keep in mind as we take this technology up and down the lineup, as well as some of the common themes with next gen hex, and really looking forward to continuing to bring additional models to the marketplace. So thank you very much.